Krishna is standing in this chariot, born just a few decades ago. Everyone knows his birth story, but he's claiming, right now, to Arjuna's face, that he taught this exact yoga to the sun god at the beginning of creation, millions of years ago. The math doesn't work. Either Krishna is delusional, lying, or reality is far stranger than anyone imagined. This episode reveals how God descends, again and again and again. Last time, you learned about the internal war between your senses and soul, desire disguised as need, anger masked as righteousness. Now Krishna is about to reveal something that will shatter everything Arjuna thought was real. He's not just a charioteer, he's not just a friend. He's the eternal consciousness that descends into form whenever darkness threatens to consume the world. The Avatar doctrine begins here. Chapter 4. I taught this imperishable yoga to Vivasvat, the sun god. Vivasvat taught it to Manu, the father of humanity. Manu taught it to Ikshvaku, the first king. Thus received in succession, the royal sages knew it. But through the long passage of time, this yoga was lost to the world. Today, because you are my devotee and my friend, I am telling you this ancient, supreme secret. You were born recently. Vivasvat, the sun god, was born at the beginning of creation. How am I to understand that you taught this yoga in ancient times? This is where most people's brains short-circuit. How can someone born a few decades ago have taught anything millions of years ago? Unless birth and death aren't what we think they are. Unless the body is just a costume the soul wears. Unless consciousness exists beyond time itself. Arjuna was about to learn something that would destroy his entire concept of reality. Both you and I have passed through many births, Arjuna. You have forgotten them. I remember them all. Though I am unborn and myself is imperishable, though I am the Lord of all beings, I come into being through my own Maya, my creative power, taking form in my own nature. Imagine the ocean creating a wave. The wave rises, crashes, disappears, but the ocean never dies. The wave thinks it's separate, but it's always been ocean. It always will be ocean. Krishna is saying, I am the ocean. You are a wave who forgot. I am a wave who remembers. The difference isn't in what we are, it's in what we remember. This is the secret of enlightenment. This is the secret of the Avatar. Right now, you think you're completely separate from everyone else. But what if it's one consciousness looking through 8 billion eyes? The awareness reading these words right now, that same awareness lives in every person you've ever met. Every stranger on the street. Every enemy. Every lover. Same consciousness. Different costume. Different memories. Different personality. But the awareness underneath? Identical. You forgot this, Krishna remembered. That's the only difference between God and you. Whenever there is a decline of dharma, O Arjuna, and a rise of adharma, unrighteousness, then I manifest myself. For the protection of the good, for the destruction of the wicked, and for the establishment of dharma, I come into being, from age to age. Pause. When has darkness risen in your lifetime? What avatar emerged? Share in comments. This is the pattern. Truth gets forgotten. Power corrupts. The strong exploit the weak. Leaders become tyrants. Teachers become liars. Parents become abusers. The sacred becomes profane. And when darkness reaches a certain threshold, when the balance tips too far, when humanity is about to destroy itself, something intervenes. Not from outside. From within. Consciousness takes form. The avatar descends. You've seen this in your own time. When corruption runs rampant, a whistleblower emerges. When cruelty dominates, someone risks everything for compassion. Not always in grand ways. The teacher staying late for the struggling kid nobody believes in. The nurse holding the hand of a dying patient with no family. The teenager standing between a bully and a victim. The ordinary person saying, no more, when everyone else stays silent. The avatar isn't always cosmic. Sometimes it's consciousness waking up inside someone who refuses to let darkness win. Arjuna was beginning to see it. Krishna wasn't just his charioteer, wasn't just his cousin, wasn't just his friend. This being in front of him was the universe's immune system, the consciousness that wakes up when darkness becomes too thick, the light that refuses to let the light go out completely, the eternal return, the God who comes back, again, and again, and again, forever. Here's the escape clause. Understand this teaching truly, not just intellectually, but in your bones, and the cycle of rebirth ends, not because a God grants permission, because you remember what you always were. Many have crossed this threshold, Arjuna. Fear dissolves, anger dissolves. You come home. This is the escape clause from the wheel of rebirth. Not through believing, through knowing, not through faith, through recognition. When you truly understand that consciousness is eternal, that birth and death are costumes being changed, that you are not the wave but the ocean, the cycle ends. Not because some God grants you permission, but because you remember what you always were. The prison door was never locked, you just forgot it was a door. You've had this experience in miniature. You're having a nightmare, being chased, falling, dying. The terror is absolute. Then you wake up, and instantly, the nightmare has zero power. It never had power. It was always just consciousness playing with itself. Krishna saying, your entire life is that nightmare. Birth, death, success, failure, gain, loss. It's all consciousness, dreaming. It's separate from itself. Enlightenment isn't gaining something new. It's waking up from something that was never real. In whatever way people approach me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path, Arjuna, in one way or another. Those who desire success in their actions worship the gods, because success comes quickly through such worship in this human world. This is radical inclusivity. The scientist seeking truth, the artist seeking beauty, the athlete seeking perfection, the parent sacrificing for love, all worshiping the same reality through different doors. The atheist with integrity is closer to God than the cruel believer. God doesn't care about your beliefs. God cares about your being. Whatever you seek with your whole heart, that's your path home. Even the wisest minds struggle with this. What is action? What is inaction? The truth about karma isn't what you think. You can be completely still and yet acting. You can be frantically busy and yet doing nothing. Understanding this will free you from bondage. Listen carefully. Here's the Mindbender. You can be completely still and yet acting. You can be frantically busy and yet doing nothing. A monk in meditation might be transforming the world through consciousness, while a politician signing laws is accomplishing nothing. A mother's silent presence might be the most powerful action in a child's life. A CEO's constant activity might be total inaction if it's driven by ego. The question isn't, are you moving? The question is consciousness acting through you, or is ego acting through you? One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is wise among humans. Such a person is a yogi who has accomplished all actions. One whose every undertaking is free from desire and selfish motive, whose actions are burned up in the fire of knowledge. Such a person is called wise by those who know. You know this distinction. Scrolling social media for 3 hours is action that accomplishes nothing. Sitting quietly and solving a problem in your mind is stillness that changes everything. Talking endlessly about your plans is action going nowhere. Meditating for 10 minutes and gaining clarity is inaction that transforms your life. The wise have learned, it's not about how much you do. It's about whether awareness is present while you're doing it. Action without ego is yoga. Action with ego is bondage. That's the only difference. Here's how it works. Do the work, release the result. Stay content regardless of outcome. This creates a paradox. You're acting, but you're free. Your hands move, your mind works, but there's no grasping. No attachment means no bondage. This is karma yoga. This is how you live in the world without being trapped by it. This is the ultimate hack for living in the world. You don't renounce your job, family, or life. You change your relationship to it. Cook dinner as offering, not obligation. Work as worship, not just for money. Conversations as sacred exchange, not ego transaction. From outside, the action looks identical. Inside, you're free. You're performing yajna, cosmic sacrifice, making your entire life prayer, not to some god in the sky, to the consciousness that is everything, including you. Monday morning. Same desk, same inbox, same deadlines. Person A drags through it, resenting every keystroke, counting hours until freedom. Person B offers each email as service to colleagues, customers, consciousness itself. Identical action, opposite karma. Person A is building a prison. Person B is practicing liberation. The difference isn't what they do, it's where awareness lives while doing it. This is karma yoga. This is what Krishna is revealing. Arjuna had heard about reincarnation before, but now he understood it. He'd heard about avatars before, but now he felt it. He'd been told about karma before, but now he knew it. The difference between information and transformation is a direct encounter with truth. Krishna wasn't giving Arjuna philosophy to think about. He was giving him reality to become. And something in Arjuna was beginning to crack open. There was a silence between them now. Not the silence of nothing to say. The silence of everything having been said. The silence where words dissolve and truth remains. The silence where teacher and student, God and human, wave and ocean recognize they were never separate. Just consciousness looking at itself through two pairs of eyes. But the greatest revelation was still to come. And what about you? How many times have you read spiritual truths and forgotten them by the next day? How many teachings have passed through your mind without touching your soul? The difference between philosophy and enlightenment is simple. Philosophy you think about. Enlightenment you become. Krishna is preparing Arjuna for something you can't think your way into. You can only experience your way into it. Are you ready? Because in the next chapter, the veil is about to be ripped away completely. The armies waited. The conch shells were silent. The weapons rested. But in that chariot, between those two beings, the real war had reached a turning point. Not the war of arrows and blood, the war of ignorance and knowledge, the war of separation and unity, the war of human and divine. And Arjuna was about to discover that these weren't two different things at all. Just before dawn, the darkness is absolute. You could believe the sun will never rise. You could think the night is eternal. But then, slowly, inevitably, impossibly, light begins to return. Not because you earned it, not because you deserved it, but because that's what light does. It returns. Always. Arjuna was standing in that pre-dawn darkness. The light was about to break. Krishna looked at Arjuna. And in that look was a promise. I will show you what you are beneath this costume of flesh and thought. I will show you how to live this truth, not just know it. Are you ready to transform? Are you ready to act without attachment? Are you ready to make every breath an offering? Chapter 4 had given the theory of the avatar. Chapter 5 would show how to embody it, and nothing would ever be the same again. What you just learned? God isn't distant. Consciousness descends into form whenever darkness rises. The avatar pattern. Krishna, Buddha, Christ. The ordinary human who says, enough. It's all the same force. And the difference between enlightenment and ignorance? Memory. Krishna remembers he's the ocean. You forgot you're the ocean. That's it. Can you feel that truth inside you right now? Episode 9. Making the mundane sacred. How do you transform grocery shopping into spiritual practice? How does changing diapers become as meaningful as meditation? Next episode shows how to make every action an offering. Not religious, sacred. If you're binge-watching this series, welcome. If you're new, hit subscribe. This is Season 1 to 18 episodes covering all 18 chapters. Full series, 4 seasons, 72 episodes total. Test yourself. Name one thing you want right now. Then ask, do I want this or do I need this to feel complete? Answer in comments.